What's this thing? Large climate-controlled globe towers in the lounge. It has some lively in-season plants inside. Out of all the healthy plants and interesting habitats you've come across, this one takes the metaphorical cake. I like cake. The plants are listening to an ambient trance playlist on a platform called Rudy. The latest episode of Media Blitz is going into the sordid details of a new teen actress' island love affair with a local politician's daughter. Good times. These shows are so demeaning, reducing private lives of famous people to soap operas for the lowest common denominator. Oh, can't listen to it. Okay. Does the pamphlet do anything? Probably not. Last time Media Blitz hosted Celebrity supported the Human Revolution. The amount of angry emails the studio received caused a network-wide ban on that issue. A Rosie 893 unit from the envelope on its side, it sits patiently near Pat in a sort of ambient sleep mode, playing light instrumental music. Nice.
The Rosie series is the most socially organized ROMs, designed to track personal liaisons and maintain social calendars. It was nicknamed the Jane Austen bot by Assets magazine a few years back in its annual Mandatory Machines issue.
Room control monitor is fixed onto the back wall of the room. The temperature is set so low, it's freezing. Looks like an antique. Seems having all the money in the world doesn't mean much without your creature comforts. And your bears. Most regal-looking robotic cat in the world sits prim and proper on the fainting chair. Spoken any languages outside of robotic meows, we can probably trace its lineage back to the cradle of jungle cat civilization. Can I pet it? Give the cat a pet. The name on her collar says Lily. Hello, Lily. Don't crowd the cat. Robot felines are double humorless.
Melody keeps unusual company. Ursus Maritimus, if I'm not mistaken. That might be why the temperature controls are set so low in here.
Yeah, definitely a polar bear.
I wasn't aware you knew the scientific name of the species, Nakabud. Has my interest in proper nomenclature started to rub off on you?
Oh. He's a white bear, Turing. What else could he be?
Plenty!
Have you ever heard of a Kermode bear? Also known as a spirit bear? Yes, actually.
Or he could be a white-faced black bear, or even a Pizzly.
I don't know what a Pizzly is. Oh, polar bear grizzly hybrid, probably.
But he's not. He's a polar bear.
Thank you.
Yep, definitely a polar bear.
Strawberries. The biggest strawberries you've ever seen are assembled in a china bowl on the coffee table. It's a cool chair. Plush purple fainting chair dominates the room. Multiflores, Nanomachine Eris, and owner of the Flower Cybernetics Group. Okay, so.
You have me at a disadvantage, Miss Flores. You seem far more familiar with me than I you. Have we met? It's just Melody
Crap. I just threw her voice out the window there.
It's just Melody Turing. And no, we've never met, though considering how often Hayden harassed me for design schematics of Flower's latest neural implants, I might as well be your aunt? We'll go with that. I wouldn't mind being an aunt even to a blue-headed robot. I'm touched, Melody. We were hoping you might be able to shine some light on my origins. Fairlight mentioned you had worked with Hayden in the past. We haven't had access to any of his research notes and couldn't track down any collaborators he might have been working with. Perhaps if we know more, we might be able to nail down a solid motive. Well, I don't know if I could speculate on that beyond typical corporate infighting. Not that Parallax is known for that, of course. Still, I'm willing to answer your questions for now.
How did you and Hayden end up working together on Turing?
Indeed, I don't see the connection between your company and Hayden's research into machine sapience. Oh, Hayden wasn't researching machine sapience. At least not primarily. Not to diminish the importance of your creation, Turing, but Hayden is mainly interested in developing a way to transfer human consciousness into a machine matrix.
Oh, really?
You can see why neural implants would obviously be an integral part of that. Oh, I didn't realize.
How would Turing's development help with digitizing the human mind?
Well, the concept of transferring the human mind into a computer has been an attractive goal for decades. Functional immortality is a powerful law. The brain is an immensely complicated machine, and even though we know the right parts of it to push to make pictures show up, we still can't replicate the entire thing as a technological construct. Even with virtual reality implants, we're really just relying on the brain's ability to make more sense of nonsensical signals. Signals? The implant is just a signal pipe, and the brain does all the real processing. That's why the acclimation period for a direct link implant is like being stuck on low-grade hallucinogens for a whole week. So Hayden decided the best way to make a machine more like the human brain would be to work in the opposite direction. Instead of mimicking the mechanics of the human brain, he started writing code that mimicked the functioning of the human mind, and assumed the architecture behind it would suit both purposes. Think of it like convergent evolution. Two different species developing the same adaptation to solve the same problem, but continents apart. Hayden is a crack programmer when it comes to information collating. That's how he made his name in Parallax in the first place. So I wrote a bunch of baffling self-modifying learning algorithms and let them loose. Poke and prod them here and there to make sure they value the same things humans do, and eventually we end up with you, Turing. Interesting. Hayden never revealed any of this to me. I imagine he's pretty tight-lipped. You were the first prototype he considered a real success and was afraid of contaminating your development before he had a chance to make good observations.
Can you elaborate on your involvement?
Fair. Hayden and I have been aware of each other for years, but can't say we've ever been friends or anything like that at all. It's a small city, and if you're in the tech sector, you are never more than 2 degrees removed from anyone else.
Collusion!
When he started looking into this pet project of his, he came right up to my door and demanded access to the research logs behind our earlier implants. Cheeky, but it was impactful and disruptive, as they like to say around here. He needed the logs to better understand the way the input handled directing sensory data to the right parts of the brain, and tried to mimic that in your software. I couldn't care less about Flower's patents anymore, so I gave him what he wanted, just to see what he would do. I'm frankly more impressed than I expected I would be, but don't tell him I said that. Don't worry.
Hayden wasn't invested in Turing's development?
I didn't say that. Hayden was quite interested in Turing, even if he is just a step to further research. In fact, he's preparing to publish his findings involving Turing, and I know it's going to make one heck of a splash in the scientific community. See, the most impressive part about you, Turing, is that you're surprisingly stock. I assure you, Melody, my construction involves only the latest and greatest in ROM prototype technology. Exactly, you're not off the shelf, but you're just a souped-up ROM. More or less like every other one out there. Your personality algorithms are impressive, but they don't require some new space-age technology to work. Hayden is going to propose that human consciousness transfers does not require special brain-like hardware architecture, but merely the right software wrapper to interface with the hardware. Much like how you function. I suppose that is correct. Still, my personality matrices do take up substantial amounts of my processing power. Wouldn't custom hardware have capabilities that better serve such a demanding specialized task? Sure, there's still plenty of reason in trying to make a computer that works just like a human brain. Efficiency is an important part of that. But if Hayden can emulate the human mind in its existing technology, it means we can start with immortality now rather than waiting for hardware to catch up with Hayden's software. I'm not terribly interested in living forever, but there's more than enough people who are to make even a temporary stepping stone important.
That's why cryogenics was a thing. Still is a thing.
Thank you for this, Melody. I understand so little of my origins. Well, I'm sorry I don't know more of the specifics. Hayden kept me up to date on his progress, but only in the vaguest of ways. If you can hunt down his notes, I'm sure they'll tell you much more. Of course, we'll keep looking. Now, perhaps we can ask some other questions. Sure.
I can tell us about yourself and Flower Cybernetics.
This is why I don't talk to journalists. They all want to pry into my life. Can't you wait for my autobiography? I promised I'm working on it. Pinky promise. We don't want to pressure you, Melody, but every bit of information we can get could be useful in pointing us towards the individuals that attacked Hayden.
Alright. Off the record?
Of course.
Fine. Ask away. What's your history with Flower?
Well, Mommy Dearest first started the company half a century ago. Quickly led attendant from a cutting-edge medical research room to a Department of Defense super soldier cyborg factory. I took over when she got lymphoma and had to fight tooth and nail to turn Flower into something that turned my guts a little less. Now we're back to making medical tech and consumer neural implants rather than brains inside tin cans with lasers strapped to the front. If the US government wants more war-grade cyborgs, then they'll have to get them elsewhere, never mind them being banned by the Geneva Convention. I guess that's the gist of it, unless you want the sordid details of the 2 decades of board meetings I had to fight through until I managed to buy back a majority stake in the company.
No, that seems to line up with the Mesh says.
Well, I'm happy to... The Mesh manages to get something right, at least.
How are you involved with the company today?
Ha! I'm not. I mean, I still own the damn thing, but frankly, I'm tired. I let the current CEO board do what they want. CEO and board do what they want, with the understanding that I will shit-can them if they do anything egregiously stupid. Like, say, create more cyborg assassin war machines. These days I mostly spend my time talking to Pat and practicing my painting.
You paint? What a coincidence. I love painting. What do you do?
Oh, nothing fantastic. Just still life, mostly. I've never been known for my artistic skills, but I enjoy it. It's very meditative, isn't it?
I agree, very much. I look forward to when all of this is over and I can get back to my canvases.
Would you mind taking a look at my work? Since you're my aunt and all. Ha! Well, we can play a little, and I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Teehee, it's a date.
What's the deal with Pat?
Pat is a prototype as well. Flower had a short-lived project that attempted to use neural implants to increase the cognitive power of non-human animals. It worked to an extent. Pat's smarter than the average bear, but not by much.
Aw, that's cold. No pun intended.
Oh, be quiet. After the project was squashed, mostly for being a money pit, Pat was the only surviving success story. The eggheads didn't know what to do with him, so I decided to keep him around here. He's not a bad companion, if a tad taciturn. Give it up, Pat. You're no Shakespeare.
Ha ha ha. Yep. I'll ask you something else.
Sure.
What's the story between you and Fairlight?
Oh hell, that old bastard and I have been flashing daggers at each other for the better part of 20 years. I contracted out the software development for our first-gen direct link VR neural implants to System 1. Things were going great, but after the first models sold like gangbusters, Yannick tried to get into bed with me. Literally.
Of course.
I turned him down, very politely I might add, and then suddenly all the cooperation between our companies dried up. We've been at it back and forth ever since. I'd be damned careful about trusting him if I were you. He's a snake, and he'll do anything he can to get what he wants.
Oh, really?
Still. I suppose if he tried again now, I might not turn him down.
Oh, really?
It'd be fun to needle him about it. Me still having my own company when he doesn't have his. Ha ha ha.
I think that's everything we need to know.
Good. I can get back to my retirement.
Thank you for your time, Melody. We'll be in touch later.
I don't think we will.
Oh, one more piece of information for you if you'd like it. I've got the contact info for a Vincent Mensa, who I think might be of help to you. Vincent was working more closely with Hayden inside Parallax, mostly on his company-approved research and data collating algorithms for the mesh. I'll send him a message and ask him to meet you somewhere. He owes me a favor anyway, so and might be able to give you more information on anything else Hayden may have been working on.
That would be fantastic, Melody. Perhaps Golden Gate Park? That's public and crowded, for the safety of us all.
That should work. Be careful out there, Turing. I'd hate to see this get you killed.
I will exercise caution, Melody, but I have contacts that could affect any repairs I may need.
You don't understand. Hayden's design uses your base hardware configuration to generate your core personality profile. Each repair will make the little idiosyncrasies of your hardware mismatch against your personality algorithms. Too much change and the whole thing collapses. You'll have to be rebooted from scratch. So, I'm sorry to say, but you're as mortal as the rest of us, Turing. I didn't know. Yeah, I can tell. You really need to get your hands on Hayden's files. There's plenty I don't know, so maybe I'm wrong. I only remember some of what Hayden told me about how he put you together. Just look out for yourself. I will, thank you.
A thin string of steam escapes from the delicate spout. It looked too good to eat. That might be the point. The handling of the teapot is showing the domain of the host servants, at least the homes of this class. So, current stuff? I tried. Pat is Melody's butler, not yours. He will offer services only when his mistress permits. Ooh, can I use the thingy? Whoa, that little helmet he wears is constantly translating the TV into growls and grunts in his ears so he can understand. Interesting. Don't brick the cat. Ooh, I didn't see that before. A huge marble fountain adorns the courtyard. Its pleasant bubbling sound can just barely be heard over the TV and outdoor ambience. Can we pamphlet it?
Most of the human revolution's arguments don't hold water.
Oh god. Puns. Can one use an open door?
Can cheap pamphlet where the colors would get all runny too.
Okay. A pair of wide window doors are set open in the back of the room, leading to a plush garden. Alright, well, we learned a lot, so we should probably save. I would like... to go somewhere. Golden Gate Park. Let's do. Oh, hi. You've never seen this person. They appear to be waiting for somebody. Perhaps this is who you're supposed to meet? Can I help you with something? I don't really have time to talk. I'm waiting for someone.
Are you Vincent Mensa? We're here for a meeting on behalf of Melody Flores.
Oh, good. You're Melody's people. Do you have the things that I asked for?
There must be some miscommunication. Melody said that you'd be able to provide us with some information about Hayden Weber's projects within Parallax. He's gone missing, and any information we could get may be useful.
Damn that old woman. We had a deal. She promised me those things, and I'm not giving her anything until I get them. What you need? I already know Hayden is missing. Why else would I be willing to sell corporate secrets to Flower? This was my chance to get away from Parallax. Instead, she sends the two of you, hat in hand, with none of the things I need. I'm assuming you're Hayden's little pet eye?
Insulting, but accurate.
Look, it's not that I don't want to help. I do. Hayden was a colleague and a friend. But if I just hand over his research, I lose most of my leverage. I need help getting the hell out of here. I'll just have to shop it around again, since Flower wasn't interested in information on Parallax's new big project. Maybe after I get a buyer, I'll be able to pass it to you.
Perhaps we could assist you? My friend here is a terrific journalist, being skilled at hunting down people and information in his job.
I don't know. Look, I need 100,000 credits cash, fake passports for me and my wife, and an untraceable car. What? If you can get me that, I can get the hell out of here and get to Canada. And I'll give you anything you want. Hayden's research notes, what I know about Parallax, my company's security credentials. Whatever. I just can't stay in the OSF anymore.